said earlier before announcing the Vision 2030 in Saudi Arabia, I said without improving our logistics efficiency, there is no way to have sustainable growth and economic growth and attracting and increasing the foreign trade and global trade integration, which is reality. Knowing that Saudi Arabia ranks second behind China in the Agility Logistics Emerging Market Index, which is considering 45 countries based on the size, business condition, infrastructure, and other factors that attract investments and freight forwarders and logistics company and air, land, and sea to work on this country. And we came right behind China. And again, I was surprised we are even as a potential. We are before Brazil, India, UAE, and even Russia. And here for the way forward, I just list again the main three area where we need actually to improve, which is, as I mentioned earlier, that's the summary of the challenges which I mentioned in the previous slides. The infrastructure, the road and rail, and the connectivity internationally, integrated logistics city where we don't have now, Mudun, which is the organization, the government organization responsible for developing the industrial city in Saudi Arabia. They have done a good job for the industrial city. They still have some challenges, and we have, personally, have some disappointments, but they have very good improvements. But we don't have logistics city yet. Few contracts have been signed, but not the way it is to be a logistics city by what it's mean. Free zone and dry ports, I mentioned that early. The second point is about the legislation and regulation to activate the role of the Ministry of Transport and the governance in order to have one single window for all the struggle that we have for the clearing agencies, and it depends sometimes on the mood of the employee. If he doesn't feel good, you will have a hard time. So I'm being very optimistic because after the announcement of the Vision 2030, we had some sessions. We had some sessions with the government leaders, and we start to hear some terminology that we never heard before. Somebody come from the private sector. I work with international companies out of Saudi Arabia. I work in international companies inside Saudi Arabia, and I work in a big local company with international standards inside Saudi Arabia. In the private sector, like most of us, or maybe in government coming from private sector, I start to hear from the government some new terminology. They're talking about strategy, they're talking about strategy map, the implementation of the balanced scorecards, about the cascading KPIs. From the top down, everyone has his KPIs and objectives, and he will be responsible and accountable for it. And this not only what we saw in presentations and in meetings, we start to see things moving very fast, like never before on the government sectors. Only maybe after the second half of 2016 and 2017, even they start to move in technology now more than most of the private companies. Unfortunately, because of the time, I cannot get into details, but there is many initiatives already implemented by the customs clearance, by the port authority, by the railway, the airports, many, and even full restructuring for the logistics, and they added the logistics activities instead of transportation before. Still, there is more to be done. Like, for example, now, in most of the world, regionally, we have, I believe in all GCC countries, except in Saudi Arabia, you cannot have today, as far as I know, you cannot have 3PL company yet, due to the out-of-date policies and regulations. I can be customs clearance, I can have a CR for customs clearance and transportation, but I cannot have warehousing. I cannot have warehousing, transportation, and for example, packing or whatever. So you cannot have this today. So what people doing is, for example, I open transportation company, and I will use my daughter name, for example, to open customs clearance, and I will use my brother name to open storage, okay? So unfortunately, we have to manipulate the regulation, which is not right. The good news is the regulation is updating now, and they send it to us, some of the people working with the government, mainly the Chamber of Commerce. They sent us the draft, and we went through it, and it's completely changed positively. The last point is efficiency and speed of procedures. Yes, we are behind. We are behind UAE, we are behind Qatar, we are behind Bahrain, while we have a great infrastructure and we have a big consumption volume. Adding to that, something that I need to mention, when I went through the reports of the World Bank, I found out between 2014 and 2016, many countries, they jump up and ranked in the first places. And definitely with the 2 years, it's very difficult to work on infrastructure. So the main change was in technology and automation. So that's one of the main factors that we need to improve, the techniques, the mechanization, the automation, as well as train and skilled workforce, where we don't have enough. Again, as far as I know, I'm not sure, but in Saudi Arabia, we have only one training institute just focusing or specialized in logistics. I'm not sure here in Bahrain. And to attract international logistics company, mainly there's many international logistics company, they try to enter into the Saudi market, but they get disappointed because of the difficulties that you have, not just related to the logistics or the government offices related to transportation or traffic, but also in the municipality. In order to get license, it's very difficult. To Ministry of Commerce, the same thing, it's very difficult. So many people, they invested, they hired, they get the locations, but they cannot operate due to, let me call it, the unnecessary bureaucracy, okay, that where we're facing. Here, on other hands, if you have the automation where you don't have that interaction or influence of the human factors, that will change it big time. If we have this international company, mainly they operating efficiently, so they will reduce the cost, and they will improve the quality, and this will actually enforce the local company in order to, they will raise the bar to improve their quality of logistical services. And the privatization is a very good model. It's worked in many countries globally. Also, we have very good examples in other sectors in Saudi Arabia, like in telecommunication. When they start privatization, things completely get different. In port as well, seaports, when they started the privatization, and recently in the airports, just like the situation in many countries, including Danata operating in UAE. Here, when we're talking about the intermodal transportation, it's when you use more than 2 or more models of transportation. So here, this is what we aim. This is what we aiming to have. As you can see, here, this is Saudi Arabia. When the vessels starting to arrive, we have, as you can see here, 3 ports on the east coast, and we have on the Red Sea 6 seaports. The biggest on the west is Jeddah Islamic Port, and on the west, King Abdulaziz seaport, in Dammam. And 70% of the import, export into Saudi Arabia, it's happening through these ports. I mean, comparing to the airports and land accesses. If we have, as I mentioned earlier, this is the summary of what I have mentioned earlier. If we have appropriate regulation, efficiency, and fast procedures, and then we have connectivity, and here I try to put the land bridge, which is planned to connect, as I mentioned earlier, the east with the west in province of Saudi Arabia. Rail networks connecting ports, cities, and logistics cities. And then we have the logistics cities with added value services, which we don't have today, like repacking, relabeling, manufacturing, simply decoupling points, as well as having free zones and dry ports. And after that, when you go on the long, definitely, even if you have one of the best railway connection networks, it won't contribute more than 15 to 20% of the total transported goods. That's based on the report globally. So, but it will help a lot. It will have more smooth movement of goods. As you know, it will help on the pollution. It will help on the safety on the roads, the road maintenance, people safety, many things. And from that, aiming the long distance to be by railway, and then the shorter distance to be by road trucks. My last point is I will talk about Arasco in brief. I don't know how I'm doing in timing, but whenever you feel hungry, just let me know. Okay? Right. So Arasco, again, Arasco was established in 1983. It's close joint stock company our headquarters in Riyadh. Most of the operations is between Kharj area and the majority actually in Dammam. Also, we have a trading company here in Bahrain, belong to the group. The capital is 175 million USD. Aramco is one of the top 10 companies to work for in Saudi Arabia. Aramco is one of the top 60 companies in KSA. Our mission is to support food security in a sustainable way in the MENA region. And the corporate strategy is diversity in areas to that complement and benefit from the portfolio. That's why Aramco consists of 6 SPUs or companies. And if you can look at the 6 companies, it all has synergy. For example, we don't work in 5 companies, we work in the food and agriculture, and then we move to steel manufacturing or telecommunication. It's all related and it's all have clear synergy. I will start with the feed. Aramco Feed is animal nutrition. It's the largest feed miller in the region. And we aiming to be one of the, and very soon, inshallah, we are reaching there after we triple our capacity. We'll reach to the one of the 10 worldwide by 2018. This is a typing mistake. I will pass the logistics because it's my area. I will zoom in and there. And then we have Aramco Foods, which is, the brand name is Intaj. Unfortunately, we stopped exporting to Saudi, to Bahrain and other GCC because we changed our strategy in the growth. Aramco Foods or Intaj is one of the top 3 poultries or broiler producer in the KSA. And then we move to MIFSCO. MIFSCO is a joint venture with Cargill. Maybe some of you know Cargill. It's the biggest food company in the world. It's food ingredients producing and solutions. Again, it's a JV with the Cargill. IDAC Mercus is food safety and quality solution, and it's a joint venture with the French company Mercus, where they have very good experience and the know-how in the food security and quality solutions. And then we have Al-Amar International. It's farm inputs and solutions. I'm behind in time. I saw your smile. And then we have, I'll move faster, we have Aramco Logistics, which is Aramco Logistics itself. It consists to 3 sub-companies. We have the shipping, and we have the stevedoring, handling and storage in King Abdulaziz port, and we have the land transportation, railway and road trucks, and we have a long partnership in the shipping we have with Bahri joint venture, and our partners are the Saudi Port Authority and Saudi Railway organizations. This is one of our vessels. It's 82,000 metric ton. It's Commerce Max vessel. We have 5 so far, and we are working to increase because 5 they are not covering our demand. So we are working on increasing them up to 20 ships. In the port handling, again, since 20 years ago, we are one of the main contractor in the seaport, in King Abdulaziz seaport. We have in commercial Perth, which is 37, where we have our equipments and we have our storage facilities, as well as we are operating in Perth 1, 2, and 3. The storage capacity between Terminal 1, maybe you can see it here, not very clear, but between Terminal 2, that's Terminal 1, the old one, we have Terminal 2. The total capacity is 450,000 metric ton, and we're working on a phase 3, Terminal 3, to double this capacity to reach 2 million metric ton of storage capacity. And all it's connecting, maybe in the coming slides, yeah, it will be more clear. Here, you can see here the railway line coming here where we are, okay, and somewhere here we'll have our phase 3. So we have here our railway terminal. We own our track mobiles, we own our wagons, and we operating ourselves internally. The SRO, all what they do is in the in-transit transportation. As you can see here clearly, that's our vessel. In the 3D, it's more clear. It's the discharging or the stevedoring is happening, going to the Terminal 1, Terminal 2, and we have connection between the two terminals. Here, some of our facilities, storage facilities in our Kharj area. Here, some of our trucks and the driver smiling. And we have some of the, you see, this is one of the track mobiles, and we have our own wagons. That's the old wagons. I didn't have time to have the new pictures. And here, when we talk about the intermodal, again, Arasco, and this is the final, and I'm so sorry to take that much time. Here, we're talking about the intermodal. I couldn't find a diagram or something to explain this easier than that. Again, Arasco, they were ahead of the game. When we started 30 years ago, we had the hubs, but delayed for too long. We had the hubs on the railway to play a big role on the transportation, either the passengers or for the goods consignments. Arasco importing around 3 million metric ton annually of grains. Only, I'm talking about here, one of the companies, which is Arasco Feed, not the rest of the commodity or products. And Arasco Feed, and they are our biggest internal customer, on our vessels, as you can see, we have, when it's arrived, we have our equipment in the Dammam port that we do the discharging, and the discharging by system go to our storage capacity, and from the storage capacity is going to our feed millers in the Dammam by trucks, and very soon, hopefully next week, we will have it. We have the infrastructure, it will go by train as well. And to Al-Kharj, we are moving around 60,000 metric ton to our Kharj planet, the remaining 800,000 ton going by trucks. And very soon, hopefully next week, we are working and signing new contract with the SRO to depend on all movements from the port till to our warehouses and feed millers, but only by railway, and the finished goods to move by trucks. This is our aim since 30 years, and we are this close to reach there. So this how mainly working, and from the our feed millers, we delivering by by road trucks. This is our vision and mission. I will leave it because it's the last slide. You can read it yourself. That's all what I have. Thank you very much. And I'm happy. In reality, I did not travel because I live in Bahrain, as I mentioned this morning, for the last 7 years. And definitely Bahrain is my second country. And I'm not planning to leave Bahrain. I'm very happy. My wife, very happy, and my kids. And guys, thank you very much. I have a great audience listening. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if we have time for the Q&A or I take off.
Thank you, Mr. Khalid Al-Bakri. It was indeed a detailed research made. Please give a round of applause for the detailed research. He touched upon many points like LPI statistics and what are the factors, challenges, and initiatives made by Saudi Arabia. What is the performance about the Aramco and all these things. Give another round of applause. If anyone have questions, I would suggest to have it during offline or during the lunch break. Thank you very much. I would like to request our event chair to honor our presenter. Please put your hands together to give the presentation. Thank you once again. I thank all the presenters who made their efforts and for the wonderful information and the presence as well. This event would not happen if it is managed by only one person. There were many visible hands as well as invisible hands. To recognize those persons, we have a person to give a vote of thanks. She is an MD of Poorna Corporation Group. Please put your hands to welcome Mrs. Anita Hariharan to give a vote of thanks.
Dignitaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are very much thankful to His Excellency Minister for making this event, giving permission for this event, to making this event a successful one. And also, we are very much thankful to our Mr. Yusuf Isa Bubshe, Assistant Under Secretary from the Ministry, for inaugurating this wonderful event. Thank you very much, sir. The Chairman of BCCI, who has represented Osama Ahmed Al-Kohiji, has given the keynote address on behalf of the Chairman BCCI, Mr. Khalid Al-Ziani. Thank you very much, Mr. Osama. First session, The first session speaker, Mr. Arno Strom, COO of APM Terminals, Yahya Ali Buali, Director Sales and Marketing Gulf Fair, Mr. Ravindo from BSAA. We thank very much for making this session adorable. Thank you very much. The hot topic of the day, VAT, well briefed by our Mr. Philippe Nore, partner KPMG, who was also senator of the event. No doubt, our entire business community benefited from his presentation. Thank you very much. The third session, the multimodal hub. The detailing of Bahrain Logistics Zone and its activities by our beloved Mr. Hamid Fakhru was really commendable. Thank you very much, sir. And thanks for your support. And last but not the least, Mr. Khalid Al-Bakri for his detailed presentation of Aramco. Was wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Bakri. Thank you. The conclave would have not been successful, but for the large number of delegates present here, making this event grandeur. Thank you, distinguished guests. My job will be incomplete if I don't thank the Master of Ceremony, Mr. Paneer Selvam, who rendered his best services with his own style of presentation and modulation. Thank you very much, Mr. Paneer. Whole day we have been well taken care by the hospitality partner. Thank you very much to the whole team of staff. Thank you. And thanks to our sound system engineer, audio, video team members to keep the event a memorable one. Thank you. Thank you to everyone and the well-wishers who have been missed out in my hurried Thanksgiving. I wish to say thank you, thank you, thank you.